When developing an IEP for a student with an emotional disability, it is very important that information regarding the student's emotional and behavioral issues are included in the present level of performance of that IEP. In describing a student's emotional or behavioral issues, it's very important that you do so objectively. You should include information regarding how the student's emotional disabilities impact their learning, what the behaviors actually look like, when they're likely to occur, what are some effective ways of responding to those behaviors, and what are some triggers or responses that should be avoided. All of this information would be very helpful to anyone reading the IEP preparing to work with the student. And of course, you all should be aware of the fact that every IEP must address the question, does the student's behavior interfere with their learning or the learning of others? If the answer to this question is yes, then you must explain in detail how you plan to address those behavioral issues. This is usually through a behavior intervention plan. I want to stress one more time the importance of describing behaviors in measurable and objective terms. It is very important that we do not make assumptions about the whys of behaviors or what a student is thinking or feeling, but describe what we see or report what the student tells us directly. Below are some examples of how a behavior can be described in an objective way, and also some non-examples for comparison. Of course, the student's academic and functional skills should also be addressed in the IEP. Just because a student has an emotional disability does not mean that we should leave out that important information regarding their learning style, the academic accommodations they may need, and their strengths and weaknesses in academic areas, as well as day-to-day functioning such as communication and maneuvering in the school independently. Each goal should be measurable and it should be meaningful to that student personally. Goals should be realistic, which means they should be obtainable within a year. They should include a baseline as well as an objective definition of the target behavior. And for each goal to decrease a behavior, there should be a goal to increase a behavior as well. It's very important that you are prepared to address each goal that you list in an IEP with an evidence-based practice. This slide shows some sample goals for behavior. It's very important that all goals include a clear baseline as well as a mastery criteria. If you do not know where the student started, you really do not know if progress was made. Also, for every goal to decrease a behavior, for example, the goal to decrease talking out, there should be a goal for increase of an alternative behavior, such as a goal to increase raising their hand and waiting to be called on. It is very important that when you write your goal, you have your measurement or data collection method in mind. If you write the goal according to how you're going to measure it, it will make this much easier for you. I have reviewed many IEPs for students with emotional disabilities that have no reference at all to the student's behavior, their coping skills, their social skills, their work habits, or anything that might be related to an emotional disability. This is a big concern for me because this would make me question the validity of that IEP and whether that IEP provides FAPE for that student. If a student has been found eligible for services as a student with an emotional disability, then that student has had to exhibit some emotional or behavioral issues over an extended period of time. It is crucial that we include those issues as a part of this IEP and as a part of our services to address the student's needs.